Hey, I'm Justin.
Hey, I'm Sheldon.
Two childhood best friends from North Carolina.
They moved to Los Angeles to play basketball.
Became successful entrepreneurs in fitness
and entertainment.
Throughout our journey,
we've seen a lot of things,
met a lot of people,
gained a lot of experience
in business and life.
Join us as we talk that talk
from NC
to LA.
Southern gentlemen,
the West Coast businessmen.
White cheddar, sour cream and onion also. Anybody got the kettle deal? You know what I'm saying? Holla at me.
Talk to the people.
Man, for sure. I will work for bags of chips.
The
jalapeno. You already know. Beauty at the beach. Oh, that's Gina George.
Let's see. And we are on.
Hey. What's up, y'all? We on. All right, we live. All right, this is the guy that's talking. Get a look at him.
You know it.
That's him.
You know it.
He's a kettle chip fan also.
Best believe it.
I'm from Polish. Say Shietska.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yo, Eastern European languages is so difficult.
Yeah, I agree.
For real.
It's a lot of it's a lot from the throat. You know, it's just...
Gosh. All right, let me get my situation right.
Yeah, get it right.
All right, cool. Every once in a while, maybe Justin could lean in and then they'd be like, boom, you can see him, right? All right, cool.
I'm going to holler at you.
But yeah, we can hear each other. All right, let me put this. What up? Oh, yo, KB Drippy. This dude, KB Drippy is crazy. Like crazy in a good way. Like, dude's very talented. He can rap. He can sing. He can get a reggae. I spit with him out in North Carolina.
Okay.
They had me in the studio. It was fire though. Him and the homie Young Gray. And so yeah. Now we put down a joint. We put down a track record. You know what I'm saying? Drippy, let your boy know when that joint drop. Know what I mean?
Sound like a play.
Yeah, man, for
like
sure. Nah, super talented dude. North Carolina got a lot of talent, a lot of music. You know what I'm saying? A lot of hoopers.
For sure. I mean, all around. I mean, it's all about exposure. But before we even get into that, you know what time it is. We are NC
to LA.
You know it.
All right, we can run it back. We NC
to LA.
All right, Southern gentlemen, the West Coast businessmen.
You got it.
All right, episode 11.
Man.
Numero 11.
We're 11 in the game.
Yeah. Equilibrium. Equilibrium is the title, is the theme.
That's
today.
What we're talking about today. So hit us with the definition. Then you said you had the definition.
Oh yes. Equilibrium, the state of physical balance, the state of a calm mind. You know what I mean? Equilibrium.
Physical balance.
Calm
mind.
Yeah, and this obviously can translate to other things. You know what I mean? In the physical world and in the metaphysical, mental world. But yeah, to be more or less balanced, chill in that spot of like where things are good.
No, I can dig it. I can dig it, and I'm with it. I'm with it. I mean, it's all about balance, and I mean, it doesn't matter what level of balance you're discussing.
Yeah.
Because I mean, as athletes, we always talk about balance. Whether it's you got to be in a balanced stance, or you got to balance the floor. Or when you're shooting your shot, you got to be on balance when you're shooting your jumper.
Yeah.
Like, so, I mean, in some way, shape, or form, balance is always important and, a part of almost like everyday life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a necessity to be on balance, to have your equilibrium in order.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, that's the guy. And whenever you talk about these things, especially like even like martial arts or any like physical type of activities, having a certain balance is crucial, and there's sometimes whenever you have like an off balance play or whatever, but then you always still want to get bounced back to like being on balance, and even to be able to go off tilt into like a tough directional play, you know what I mean, metaphorically speaking and literally speaking. You got to be on balance to be able to react to whoever, to get over here, to get over there, or whatever the case may be. Equilibrium is also a dope movie. I like to reference things like pop culture. Christian Bale is one of my favorite actors, did this really, really dope movie called Equilibrium. And like basically like the whole world was on like mandatory like drugs from the government. And it created this very like even kill, like drone almost type society. You know what I'm saying? And so but he dared to like, have feelings. Basically it was like this world, like these drugs basically like numbed your feelings or whatnot. And
you said Christian Bale?
Christian Bale. It was like, it was almost Matrix level type situations. The action in the movie was crazy. Is definitely a predecessor to like the John Wick films.
Okay.
And I'm a John Wick, but
a lot of graphics and all that.
Yeah, but every time how he was firing his gun, he was always like on the most like maximum balanced position to shoot the gun. You know what I'm saying? And then so everything was like bomb. You know what I'm saying? So it had like this whole like diagram of things because he was like a police officer in the joint.
I remember.
It was crazy.
Okay.
I mean, the movie kind of slipped through the cracks for real because like the budget looked crazy, like it was sick, but it didn't really receive a lot of promotion.
I mean, with streaming, I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's one of the ones that's a hidden gem. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You run up on Equilibrium, I think you're gonna enjoy that one.
Yeah. And so that movie, and also like just put the word in my mind or whatnot. But the moves that he was doing in the movie was so dope, and then also finding that balance of like emotions. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the most crucial ones. When you talk about equilibrium, it's being an emotional balance. And this is coming from a person who's not always been emotionally balanced.
God. I'm thinking about myself, like, you know what I'm saying? Emotionally balanced. And I mean, the thing is, for me, why it's important, because you can excel and do so well in a certain area of your life that either you ignore it, others ignore it, or simply it's just overlooked. Complete balance. You know what I mean? So especially like as athletes, right? Guys play ball so well, and then if you catch them in different aspects of their lives, then you're like, oh man, like he kind of weird. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's a little different. Like a lot of people, they critique Kyrie, right? A phenomenal basketball player, ridiculous handle. But the things that he says, off the court, a lot of his, social media tweets and comments and things of that nature, people have a different ideology of who he is. You know what I mean? Some bad, some good. But at the end of the day, I think at this point, like Kyrie really doesn't care about like how people perceive him, and it could come off buttholeish. You know what I'm saying? I mean, for us, like we hoopers, so we get it. Like he really wants to be a part of other things outside of basketball.
I think sometimes athletes do like struggle to find that balance, especially nowadays. There's even more criticism for like what they do off the court or who they are off the court, what they wear off the court.
For sure,
more so than before. And I do think sometimes, they do struggle, and how they present themselves, because people look at you a certain way in the media. What I call like snippets of time, right? You see this game and you see these plays. All right, it's like 2 hours of this person's life in a press conference or whatever, and we assume that we really know these people.
Exactly.
And sometimes like your own personal desires versus what the public wants or like thinks and expects from you, they can conflict.
For
sure, yeah.
And I mean, I think, like I said, with the growth of social media, it's a slippery slope, because I mean, you want to show personality and emotion or whatever, because it could assist you in making more money. You know what I mean, with endorsements and whatnot. And then you have some introverts that's like, man, that's just not me. And it's like, man,
so you kind of get forced into it sometimes. Yeah.
And it creates an awkward situation.
It can.
Especially if you don't embrace it.
Yeah. But then also sometimes guys, like growing up, didn't really care about certain things or whatever. Like me, my father used to tell me, I remember we had a conversation one time, and he was like, you ain't gonna, like Julian and Justin gonna make it, like, I don't know if you're gonna make it, because like Julian and Justin take basketball like more serious. This is Justin. Julian is like our other best friend we grew up with that we'll refer to. All right, sometimes. But anyway, it's not like I was offended. But it was true. Like I would want to go swimming and they wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I would want to go
you truly had other interests.
Yeah.
I mean, and not that basketball, wasn't important or didn't have, a certain level of, what do you want to call it? I guess.
Importance. Relevance. Importance. Yeah.
I mean, for me, I was just obsessed with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know what I'm saying? Like, we know that. Like, we can separate. Mm-hmm. I was obsessed, and I didn't want to learn anything else. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to be a part of anything else. And, I mean, that was, like, beneficial for our friendship because we always wanted to hoop.
Yeah.
But because we always wanted to hoop, that was like, I don't need nobody else. Like my two best friends, we could play basketball all day from sun up to sundown.
Mm-hmm.
And we could sprinkle in some others' interests, what I mean, that Shel may have.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I'm saying, like our usual, like we'll hit the movies on a Friday.
Yeah, that's a bet.
You know what I mean? Or Saturday.
We all had the love for the movies, for sure. Yeah, so definitely watched Mad Flicks as a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, for sure, like as far as like overall balance, you were into other things, and an obsession is not balance.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So just because I was obsessed with the game, that wasn't balance. You had to force me, not really force me. You just had to hold basketball over my head in order for me to perform in certain areas outside of basklarbasketball. Yeah. And that's where the balance lacked for me.
Yeah, and that's one thing, like school-wise, all our parents were all like, like spurred us on to like be good academic students and things like that. But I did kind of have like some personal motivation. You know what I mean? I think probably more so than you, like academically.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah. What you wanted to accomplish, like with your grades, yeah. 3.5. That's all I was thinking. 3.5. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't let that thing drop below 3.2.
Yeah, and then also I had my mother to blame or to thank. She made me take the SAT like 3 times, and I passed it with flying colors the first time. And then I remember Justin passed it. And he was like, I'm good. Like,
that was it.
He passed. He was like, I'm good. And I passed mine. And I had a higher score than he did. And my mom was like, no, take it again. And I was like, what? Why?
Yeah. So, it's a scale, right? If you have, and the reason why the 3.5 stayed on my mind because I knew I had taken the SAT maybe like 2 or 3 times.
And a 3.5 GPA is good.
Yeah, it is.
It's cool. It's good.
You got to grind for it. Yeah. I probably could have gotten better, but that was what I wanted.
He definitely could have gotten better grades.
But the score that you had to get on the SAT was based on your GPA. So I was like, oh yes, okay, boom. And I think it was like 820, 890 between that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, all right, I'm there. It may have been 850. I got an 890.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, cut it off. I'm done. Send the paperwork in. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am eligible under NCAA, requirements. I am eligible to play college basketball. So don't ask me to do nothing else. And it was a celebration.
It was. And I think all my friends would like to accept me. Yeah, I was the only one that had to go back and take this 4-hour test.
No.
Again.
No.
And then another time.
Nah.
And then like the third time I like trailed off and it was like, all right, enough is enough. Yeah. I took the SAT 3 times, but I passed it with flying colors the first time.
Yeah, so that's 12 hours of my life. I failed it twice.
My mom was in competition with my cousins. Because I have like really, so her older sister and her daughters are closer to my age, and they're both Ivy League students. One went to Columbia, the other one went to Brown, and they had like crazy dumb like SAT scores, and so I think it was like a personal thing between those two.
Yeah, but that's really like and I ain't gonna just say that's a Jamaican thing, like. But you find
it's definitely an immigrant thing.
Yeah, like for real education. Like for immigrants like Muslims or.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
It is one of the keys to making it in America. It is. As a young person and as a family, and also you have the opportunity here that you probably didn't have somewhere else. So it's like taking advantage of the opportunity, and it's also like, hey, these are possible ways, to elevate you. You know what I mean? Like you see the amount of maybe let's say Nigerian doctors in America. You know what I mean? It's a lot of them.
Nah, that's real, and I mean, and that's laser focus, and I mean, like a certain level of balance just to keep that path going.
It is, and that's that term student athlete. That is a crucial one because that is complete. Like that is balance, and on the high school level, on the college level. So to have certain requirements to be met, academically and physically. It's a lot. It's a lot on your mind and your body. I don't know if we do the best job of balancing while you're in college sports. Some people do. Some people do it better than others, but it is a lot of strain that can be placed on your brain, on your body. In season and out of season, and college and academics don't necessarily come easy to everybody as well. So, having study halls and actually, having to be able to put more time and effort into something that you're not necessarily good at in order to make a grade, you know what I mean, to stay eligible to play on the court, or you know what I mean, or hey, it's a balance for real. And then also you don't want to be like just student athlete, you want to be a person.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have a social life and things of that nature. And, sometimes, like you say, the imbalance aspect of it is that, man, look, I'm too tired to even go socialize. Or I'm pushing myself, and now, I'm lacking in practice.
Well, I got to get some sleep.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, for sure. Even with the parties, stuff like that, like, hey, man, you better make sure that you get some sleep and you get some hydration because your job is to go out here and perform as a college athlete.
Let's believe it. Because, people don't know or realize, or maybe sometimes, or they do. But, those scholarships are year to year. Even though you feel, you like, man, he got a 4-year scholarship. Yeah.
You get evaluated at the end of the season.
At the end of the season.
You're going to go in the coach's office and have a conversation.
And discuss, like, what's necessary to maintain your scholarship. So, even on that side, like, it's, I guess what you have, like, necessary imbalances, I guess.
Yes.
To where, you have to focus on something a little more than the other, but it's like the necessary evils, you know what I mean? Like with basketball and being a college athlete, you really don't have time to balance the social aspect. Just being completely honest.
No.
You know what I mean? It's gonna matter.
Yeah. But you know what? I had a second lease on life when I transferred. So it's like part 2. So I got 2 years of college experience under my belt. And I kind of realized in choosing the second school, I was like, what am I going to do? What would I want different? What do I want better from this experience? And so I did. And I got into a good groove. And I learned how to do some things. Also, because I had that red shirt year, my red shirt year, I was... I told my ACL and talking about balance with that, with the physical therapy and all the things I went through. Are you good over here?
Yeah, we'll figure it out at the end. It's back up and rolling on.
All right.
That phone call messed it up.
So will you have to match them up, or is it saved, or what?
Whenever I do it, I'm gonna have to match them up.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. So talking about ACL a second time. Right, and then I was transferring schools, and I knew what I wanted out of my next college. So when I went to Florida International, and then also I had that red shirt year, I was very involved on campus, in campus life, with my poetry and community services, and like Black Student Union. But while I was also rehabilitating and getting everything, physically ready to play in college, play college basketball, which I did bounce back and do. But that year, that redshirt year, helped me get my grades back on track, because I had took a little dip at Winthrop, but I knew my GPA was starting over. So whenever I transferred schools, I took more advantage of the college experience, and that was cool.
And I think that's what we're just what you talking about, like the necessary imbalances.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, you tore your ACL physically, you may have been, you know, it may be minimal activity that you're able to do physically.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, cool. I can get my mind right. I can stay sharp in this way. I can plan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Kind of plot my next moves, opposed to, you know, with basketball, I can get it's back to back to back, and a lot of it is planned for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You got this game, you got these tournaments, and then
you got pre-game dinners and all that stuff.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that the thought process and that aspect is taken out of it. You know,
But also, my pops, as you know, he was always like, he always preached like being well-rounded to me. And I think because he tore his ACL at the same age that I tore my ACL the first time, I was 16, he put importance on some other things and allowed me to grow in some other areas and encouraged me to do some other things. You know what I'm saying? Like being in theater class. You know what I mean? Like he encouraged that.
Yeah.
Like we love movies and like this is what you really like. But for real, all right, cool. Something outside basketball. Academics. He wasn't as forceful as my mother was, but he obviously encouraged it. And like one of his biggest goals and dreams for me was to graduate college.
Yeah.
Because he did. He went to school for a few years, but he never finished. He joined the U.S. Army. So it was important for him, for me, you know, to graduate college.
I can understand that for sure. I mean, you know, my family is very much into education, so just that simple fact alone, you know, principals, teachers, you know, doctors, you know what I'm saying? So, like, just, that's why I said, I mean, you know, people talk about like a 3.5, like, I knew that was like the minimum of what I could carry. And as far as like the work ethic, because like I said, I was obsessed with the game. I really wasn't trying to be balanced as a high school basketball player. Like, I just wanted to be a hooper. I was all into that, and that was it, you know. But again, because of my desire, you know, that helped. And it allowed me just, you know what I'm saying, to kind of have confidence within myself. Like, man, look, okay, the academics you're just not into, or, you know, and when we look back now, or we look at where I'm at now, I love education. You know what I mean? But it has to be something that I like. Right? Or it just has to be interesting. You know what I mean?
Also, how it's presented is also a thing. And
yes.
I feel like in standardized education in America, we don't necessarily do the best job of gearing kids to their strengths.
That's real.
Assessing strengths and weaknesses and gearing them towards their strengths and the things. Sometimes as parents, we imprint and try to force our kids to do what we want them to do, more so than maybe what they should do.
Yeah. And I mean, and that could throw off a kid. You talking about like something that a kid is naturally good at. You know what I mean? And then we're forcing our thing on our kids. Low key forcing an imbalance. You know what I mean? We're thinking, oh, well, this is gonna keep you, but you know, we're not really allowing them to grow in that strength. You know, because we talk about necessary imbalances. That could be where they're thriving to desire their love or passion for something.
Well, the thing is, yeah, because it can create. Yeah, it also can create frustrations amongst the kid and the parent, and yeah, we have to, you know, realize what we should be gearing our young people to, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean, and that comes from like communication, being balanced as an individual to listen, to communicate.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And in order to accomplish or achieve anything on a good level, great level, you know, successful level, takes support.
For sure.
And yeah, it takes support from somebody. Yeah. And it may not come from your parents. It might come from. Hopefully, it does come from your parents, but it might come from a teacher, mentor. A coach. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that, you know, anybody that is around and, you know, can be supportive. But hopefully, your parents and close people are supportive. It's important, and I know. For us to be able to accomplish what we've accomplished, our family was very supportive.
Oh yeah.
And probably maybe more so than a lot of other people's families and parents. If you go to particular games and things like that, like you know Justin Johnson's parents are, you know who Sheldon Bailey's family is,
Oh, for sure.
where they at.
For sure. I mean, the support aspect, that without saying, I mean, everybody needs some level of support, and we've always had that. So I mean, I don't really know.
I even had his parents. I mean, his parents supported me.
Yeah. So I mean, and because we played on so many different teams, we could kind of see just like the lack of support for some of our, you know, peers, and the impact.
Usually the best players, though, I'm not gonna say that. Usually the best players, but I don't know. All the dope dudes I remember, they had like pretty good support. I know some hoopers out here that don't.
And it's not a coincidence.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean? Just that extra push, or somebody saying, you know, man, you can get it done.
even
Just
if it was an uncle.
Yeah, for
You know what I'm
real.
saying?
For real. Especially like with travel ball, we saw more of that, where, you know, maybe the parents weren't the people that attended tournaments and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, once you get on that level, best believe somebody's looking out. You know what I'm saying? So we would, you know, go to Vegas and yeah, you know, there's an uncle that I got to live out in Vegas. They'll be there to support. And at the end of the day, I guess what you formulating some type of balanced system.
Yeah, for sure.
Goals,
Especially like you know what time it is in the summer. You know what I mean? You get your workouts in, you get your AAU basketball in.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm saying this because I got a son that's going through it right now. And you gear up towards, you know, high school, your high school basketball season, and all that stuff. And so, I mean, all these things is like seasons, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they are.
Yes.
And like basketball seasons, but even like out of season, but still just even like the weather, you know what I'm saying? The 4 seasons, like things come in different, they come in different waves and different times. You know what I mean? And it's time for birth and it's time for death, you know what I mean? As far as like shedding the leaves, shedding the old skin, things like that, you know what I mean? It's time, remember you chilling and you go off and you just plot and then you putting in your work, as I like to equate it to being in the cave. You know what I'm saying? You go to the cave.
Shel for me.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, for me too. Like, my name is Shel. So I'm always kind of like metaphorically thinking about shells and stuff like that. But he's a Cancer, so I think that's what he's referring to.
You already know.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, but the cave, man, you go into the cave and you prepare. You prepare, you get in the lab, you make a better version of yourself, and then be able to come out back into the world and present whenever it's time to present.
Yeah.
Right? You writing something. I've been writing. All right, cool. Now it's time for me to present this script to the world.
I mean, and it's funny, like, what about just the journey of just realizing what balance is?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because again, like we're saying, you know, we could be
maturity.
Like, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, dang, okay, yeah, I was dope. You know, have conversation with friends and you kind of like, dang, like, I could have handled those situations a lot better. Like, I was really lacking in my problem solving. What, you know what I'm saying? Like, things like that. And it's the reflection, right?
Well, yeah.
And you have to reflect in order to become all the way balanced. You know, so it's a journey. Of course, you want to become balanced as soon as possible. But, I mean, you can't without going on your own journey.
Without having certain experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. And some of the people that are best in games and the best in life, they pick it up sooner than others. They pick it up sooner than later. And one of the things is, you know, not ignoring signs along the way that, you know, you can learn from. And when I seen the definition of equilibrium, calm state of mind really came to mind to me, because I'm 39, it's taking me about 39 years, 38 years, 39 years to figure out what a calm state of mind means and what it can do for you and what it can be. And I'm like, dang, man, if I would have been able to been this calm mentally, like, I probably would be so much further. Or I wouldn't have ruined that relationship.
Yeah.
This, you know what I'm saying? This or that. So
The journey to becoming balanced. Like,
yeah, but at least I realized, and I want to be able to hopefully realize even more things, you know, before I leave this place.
Alright, so now, okay, when we coming in the season of balance, right? Maturity, things that we've been through to help mold us. Now, I think we start getting into a season of giving.
Right? Oh, you got to.
Teaching. You know what I'm saying? Like, just like we said, in certain aspects, we wish that we had certain advice that could have sped up the process of becoming a balanced individual. And we're still on this journey. You know what I mean? We're just way more balanced than we were, right? And we acknowledge the journey. But while we're on this path, now it's like, okay, the next aspect of our balance is giving. And that's where we are now. Well, we got to give the game, like you said.
Yeah.
If we could have had it quicker, well, now we got to be able to give it so they get it quicker.
Exactly. And so, hopefully, like on the larger scale, I mean, we both do this, practice this in our personal lives every day, you know what I mean, with our children and with loved ones that are around us and people that we interact with. But like, yeah, on the larger scale, because we do have a lot of experience in various things.
Yeah.
And then also
situations.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I didn't always handle things the best, and I learned from them. I handled some things pretty good. You know what I mean? But having this calm state of mind, like, that one really, like, sticks out to me, because as a basketball player, like, I was able to have, like, success as a basketball player. Because I'm strong and, like, extremely athletic. But I understand the game well. But there have been times where I wasn't always calm mentally, or I couldn't really calm myself down, or you know what I mean? Things like that. And so, like, as I've gotten older, like, I realized this thing about myself, like, dang, man, like, if I could have just slowed down a bit, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if I just would have just had some more confidence at this time, or whatever, if I was able to, like, keep achieving things, it was like, I was really good at the game. But for me, like, internally, like, what I was going through, I felt like other athletes probably didn't go through, or, like, it wasn't, like, the same for them as it was for me. And I mean, I got, obviously, overcoming, like, major injuries, plays into this as well, but no excuses. But something that I analyzed, like, some of my successes and some of my failures in the game was I wasn't always able to, like, calm my mind and, execute.
Nah, for sure. And I mean, that's I teach a class, and I hate, and it's so cliche, but the first part of the class that I have to teach is like mindset. And once I get into it, like, I start rolling, but I hate it because I'm just like, oh man, it's such the cliche thing, but it's so necessary, because you can't go on any journey without the proper mindset first. You know what I mean? Because something is gonna get messed up, and you're not gonna handle it properly. That's just it. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to go back again, and you have to pass the test before you can move forward in anything, life. You know what I'm saying? Relationships. For a basketball player, let's say that, man, he performs well, but every year he's getting at least 10 texts. You know what I'm saying? Now it comes, you've done a 4-year deal for however much, and you still have that reputation, and now we have to revamp your contract, and we're trying to figure out, okay, are we gonna get this dude another crazy deal, and we still dealing with the same issues emotionally? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's still spazzing out. He's giving us 20, 10, and 9, but do we want to deal with the off the court issues? Yeah.
Whenever I played at Winthrop, our coach was always trying to get us to play angry. And actually, it was so weird, too. Like, whenever they had a mural, we just got fired, by the way. That's all I'm saying. So, but for a lot of years, after he left, they had like a kind of a mural of this guy, and it was a quote. It said, "Play angry." And I was like, that's got to be the dumbest quote at an institution of higher education. Play angry. First of all, this is basketball, not in the Roman Coliseum. Even though this place is called the Coliseum. Why are we playing angry? No, man, like play smart.
Yeah.
Have fun, like
Yeah.
play physical,
Play as a team.
be tough. You know what I'm saying? Like play angry, and so to get into that mindset and to have somebody like coaching you like that, like for you to be, then you got to decompress after the game.
After the game.
Like, come on, like I'm trying to be angry. Like I don't want to kill this guy over here. This is not boxing.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
basketball.
and that's when you talk about like a complete coach, knowing your guys too. At UCLA, John Wooden, he used to let Bill Walton smoke after the games because he would get so riled up and ready to go. And I mean, you know what? I guess what were they doing your analysis back then?
I don't know. It was in the 70s anyway.
But
so.
I mean, he knew as a coach, like he had to let him. You know, and I heard it on the documentary. I was like, what?
Yeah, we definitely had some of my wildest parties after sporting events.
Oh, for sure.
As well in college, kind of came with the territory. I think guys just got to unwind. Fans want to have a good time.
You gotta get it out.
Yeah, it's interesting in that way though. And it probably needs to be some more therapy and stuff like that. But for guys that spend so much time playing a sport, it does condition you to be a certain way. You know what I mean? So
whether people want to admit that or not.
Yeah, it does. It conditions you to be a certain way. And each sport there's some like things that are similar across the board, and then each one has the unique things. You know what I mean? I think the physicality of football creates a certain aggression and a certain thing going on, and also being in helmets and being in pads, you know, it's different. They react and act differently to things that basketball players do, even though it is sporting competition.
Do you feel like in the football aspect, because of like the helmet and everything else, it's almost an unseen type thing, where some people, you know, they happy not being seen, but some is like, I have to be seen.
Yeah. Well, some football players take it personally that their sport, they don't get enough face time because they have helmets. But then also, whenever you're in a helmet, because I've played some football in my life and done some football ads, when you're in a helmet, it's this personal experience. It's like an inner experience, like
Avatar.
Almost. I mean, it's different to have a helmet on. Yeah, like playing basketball, like you playing the sport I'm out here. But once you put that helmet on, like you're in this individual world in here. You know what I'm saying? By yourself. I don't know. It's just a little different. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah. I get it. I mean,
because everything is exterior. You can't see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Around here, it's peripheral.
I mean, I just think about like, cause you know, we both played football when we was young.
Yeah.
Like just my mind state as a football player, and of course I was young, you know, but I could still think about like just how much different I was playing basketball.
I was kind of similar a little bit because I was kind of swagging on dudes out there on the football field. I got lit up a couple times though. It just comes with the territory. You're gonna get hit, and then hitting is another thing. Like, you know, wanting to hit and desire to hit hard and wanting to hit. I can only imagine what like 20, 30 years that does to you.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, I think about this. Like, I mean, well, for me, my difference for football, I was more aggressive. In basketball, I still had a toughness, but I was way more into the finesse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like football, I was quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So I was just trying to like not get hit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, not get injured for basketball season.
I used to like to truck people because I was a big guy. I was like one of the bigger guys in the football field. You know what I'm saying? They didn't even think I was the right age. Like, they was always like contesting my age and stuff.
Man.
Yeah, I was out there hit sticking people for sure. My stiff arm was crazy. Like, bah!
Nah,
bah!
That's
like,
real, bro.
For real. And I was pretty good at catching, but running. I wanted to play the running back, and my coach was didn't believe me. And I was like, bro, like,
man, running backs and guards, bro.
I'm like, listen,
you want to be a guard.
Listen, I'm breaking the mold. Quit holding us back, B. Stop holding us back. Equilibrium. Let the big dudes do their thing, fam. For real. I was like, Coach, I could play running back. And he wanted me to play tight end. right? And I'm like, Coach, that's cool, but like, I want to, like, I'll trust me. I'm like, because at the time, I was fast.
Yeah.
I always been fast, like, as big as I am, whatever, like, track speed fast, like, real fast. And so he let me race. I won the race. And then he was like, okay. And then so he ran a couple plays for me. Now, it was a little tougher sometimes running on the inside for me. Because, you know what I'm saying, dudes coming for them legs. You know what I mean? But a sweep, a toss, I'm out of here, B.
Outside.
I'm out of here. And I get to that sideline, you try, bow, long, stiff arm, you out of here.
Get to the body. Yeah, I dig it.
Yeah, so I used to come through the middle sometimes. It wasn't even my favorite because a few times I did kind of get like jacked up, was coming off them A gaps and then like bow, oh. Yeah. Nah, but you get me on the outside, son. It was crazy. I ran for 1,000 yards.
Okay.
1,000 yards, son.
Nah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. But yeah, I mean, I think this was pretty dope, man. Like the whole equilibrium, because I mean, I think at our age now, we kind of doing a little more self-development a little more often than not.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
I'm spending a lot of time on my mind and where I'm at because I've had some success, but I feel like even more successful. And I've made some mistakes and I've had some successes and learning from those. And I also remember seeing that some of my aggression and my displays of outward frustration, you know what I mean, have, you know, maybe caused a little bit more damage than I would like to give it credit. And I think some ways, it's also helped me stand up for myself and other people and things like that. But maybe it did create some conflict, you know what I'm saying? Or it did create some conflict. And just learning that how to respond to things even when they're not really going your way. And I think that's been like one of the real important things like of my growth is in growing up and maturing is like not throwing a tantrum more or less, or, you know, raising my voice and yelling, or making somebody else feel small because they're not saying what I want them to say, or not even yelling back at somebody that's yelling at me. You know what I'm saying? Because I can control my response. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And that's now we're talking about like having power. You know what I'm saying? Whenever you actually can control what's going on with you and exterior things don't shake you. You know what I'm saying? Like they used to.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this was pretty heavy for today.
Yeah, equilibrium, man. Equilibrium, Bill. If you can, find some shots. Find that poster to just.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna do it. You know.
Yeah, Christian Bale was on this John Wick like 12 years before John Wick came out.
Throw a highlight or something.
Yeah. Bow, 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 bow. Yeah.
But for the people, man, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna try and hit you with,
hit
you with some love every now and then.
Yeah, Jim.
It's a drought.
The drought.
Equilibrium.
Also health. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
the
for
other
sure.
thing, yo. So I want people to be healthy and, enjoy yourself socially and things like that. But be mindful that, we want your body. We want you to stick around here for a long time, man. So drink your water and eat your greens and your fruits and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and the balance of the health thing is so crazy because dudes, of course, they live their lives, they go out, they party, they get it in or whatever. Mm-hmm. Some of our friends, once they get out of sports and whatnot, they ain't working out how they used to.
Yeah, get that
you know what I'm
bad
saying?
weight
Kind
on
of
you.
falling off, and we getting to an age now where, like, comedian just fell off the other day. He's like 42.
We are technically. I mean, based on American lifespan, we're middle-aged men.
Yeah, that's real.
We're not children anymore.
So, I mean, we do all this hustling.
Get your annuals, yo. Get your prostate check.
We trying to get $1. We, working, we grinding, we doing all of this and that. And, we're not necessarily taking care of ourselves. I'm not speaking about us. I'm just saying, like, just overall.
Yeah.
So, you can't want to, like, get to the bag and then you die literally, you know what I'm saying, like before your time, and don't get to enjoy any of it.
Yeah, and we want you to enjoy this, your fruits of your labor in life and things like that. But we want you to be smart about it, and
you don't work hard, you stressed
around.
out, you got high blood pressure.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. You done got a few million under your belt, and then you croak. Because you know what I'm saying, you weren't working out along the way because again you didn't have balance.
Yeah.
And so, that's why we feel like it's important, man.
Bet that. Equilibrium. Equilibrium, baby. Step your vocab up.
Yeah.
And see?
To LA. Bow, out of here.